Good morning, everybody. It's Amy Bennett from the AM Show. I am so glad to be back with you. I was out on Friday because I was at the She Speaks conference in Concord, North Carolina, which is just north of Charlotte, very close to me. So I had meant to take my stand thingy. I had meant to take, can't talk today. I had meant to take my stand so I could possibly do the live video on Friday, but I totally forgot it. So didn't get to do it on Friday, but it was a fabulous conference. For those not familiar, it is a writing, speaking, and leading conference put on by Proverbs 31 with Lisa Turkhurst. It was just so good. So you just have a couple of main sessions with speakers. Lisa spoke twice. And then you have all the breakout sessions for whatever thing that you want more information on. So you can do writing or speaking, and then they have some leading. They had some, I did one session that was just on general Bible study, and that was so fun. It was a guy who has all the letters behind his name, you know, has been to school, and he's the director of theology at Proverbs 31, and that was so fun to see just how he approaches Bible study. Because I have never had any formal training, so to sit under somebody who has and to see the different approaches, that was just so fun. That was probably one of my favorite sessions, actually. But there was a lot of good ones, and I think the really cool thing about this year is that this is my third year going to this conference, and I've been to other conferences, writing conferences before, and I tend to leave conferences super overwhelmed, like almost to the point of depression, because there's so much stuff that they told you, and I feel like I have to do every single bit of it, and it gets me overwhelmed and depressed, and then I can't do it, and it's been hard to like come back from a conference. But this year, for some reason, I just felt super chill going into it. Like, this is gonna be fun, but it's not the be all end all, you know, it's not gonna have all the answers. And then I walked away with it and it's like, yeah, I learned some really good things, but it's not like every single thing I heard I have to implement and do and figure out right away. So I don't know what the difference was this year. Maybe just experience, or I don't know, but it was good because I felt like it was really good, but I don't feel super overwhelmed. Although this morning, let me just tell you, I don't feel 100% great. I slept I went to bed with a headache last night. I was hoping that I would sleep it off, but I ended up sleeping with a headache. Have you ever slept with a headache? It does not feel really good. And then I woke up with a headache, so I have like a pain like right here in my head right now. And then guess what else? My Spark that has my caffeine in it is out. So I have not had caffeine either, which sometimes helps with the headache. So I'm like a little bit rough this morning. I gotta figure out how to get some caffeine this morning. I don't drink a lot of it, but I usually have enough to like get me started. So anyway, that was a little catch up from the weekend. And I was just once again, confirmed that I love being here with you every single morning, and I feel like I'm right where I'm supposed to be, and I feel like you guys are right where you're supposed to be, and us connecting is just a wonderful thing. And so yeah, I'm just excited to be back and to keep going. One other thing I wanted to share, and that kind of goes into what I wanted to talk about today, is I want to talk about God's kindness. And I want to tell you that God's kindness is not always easy or fun. It doesn't look like sometimes what we think kindness should look like. And I thought about that this weekend, because we sang the song. Let me just tell you, the worship this weekend was amazing. They had the Elevation, the group from Elevation there, and if you don't know Elevation Church, they have an incredible worship team. London Gatch, if you want to know, she was the main worship leader. Mac Brock was there one day. It was just incredible. I mean, the first worship session, they started singing, and then I was just like pouring tears. It was like just a water faucet. I don't know. I was like, oh my gosh. So worship was just actually one of my favorite parts of the weekend. But we sang Reckless Love, of course, because it was a Christian women's conference. Of course we did. Reckless Love, and I think it's the right song, but it says, you have been so, so kind to me. And it's been so wonderful to look back and see, and not just believe those words because the Bible tells me so, but to be able to look back at specific instances in my life and say, God, you have been so, so kind to me. And even this weekend, one of the evenings I got sat beside this lady, and she was talking up a storm, and we ended up talking about, she was taking supplements. So of course, with my supplements, I'm like, what are you taking? I take a bunch of supplements. I guess that was sort of a personal question I asked her, but it looked like one of my pills. That's so weird. I'm so weird. I'm so awkward. Why do I ask people what pills they're taking? It's like none of my business now that I'm thinking back. Anyway, so I asked her, I was like, what are those pills? And she's like, oh, those are digestive enzymes, which are some of the things that I take. And we ended up on this whole conversation about health and everything. Turns out that she has a daughter with Down syndrome, and I started talking about Jacob and us doing the neurofeedback with him. Turns out this lady had put her daughter through neurofeedback. She had gone for 3 times a week for 3 months, so they did like 36 sessions, and she told me it had been amazing. It had been amazing, and she had talked to many other parents who had children. Like, I can't even think, y'all, without this caffeine. She had talked to other parents who had put their children through neurofeedback. That's what I'm trying to say. And it had gotten wonderful results as well. And for me, like, out of all the 700 women that were there at a Christian women's conference, that to me felt like a kindness from God, that I was sat beside this lady, and it's definitely something that's been a desire of my heart, that as we've put Jacob through this, that I could talk, and I've been wanting to so badly to talk to other parents who had done this for their children, to say, is this even worth it? Does this work? Like, I don't know what we're doing. Like, I feel like it's the right thing for us to do, but does it really work? And for me, that was just being sat beside her out of all the random people at that conference, and to end up in that conversation about neurofeedback, and then to have her confirm it, like, to me, that was just a kindness of God. And also, not only did she confirm that worked, she also gave me a name of another supplement that had really helped her daughter. So that just felt like a gift to me. And so I can point back to so many times like that it's just, I've had a desire in my heart, and God has worked it out to give that to me. And I think about, even like with our original kind of feather story, where God just, as we adopted, God really confirmed that we should move forward through finding feathers. And that to me is just God's kindness. And I think sometimes God absolutely, his kindness looks, like a kindness that we would think. And one of the verses that I have highlighted from Jeremiah 31, because we're reading through that through the Bible now, it says, I have loved you with an everlasting love. I have drawn you with loving kindness. And he absolutely does, and has done that in my life. And it's just been so kind. And I know it's God in these moments, and it's just his kindness, and he is like that. But then I turn over to Hebrews 12, and it says something like this. It says, my son, do not make light of the Lord's discipline, and do not lose heart when he rebukes you, because the Lord disciplines those he loves, and he punishes everyone he accepts as a son. Endure hardship as discipline. God is treating you as sons, for what son is not disciplined by his father? And I think about the fact that sometimes God's kindness is not easy or fun. And so sometimes that kindness has looked like discipline. And I think about my kids, and the old saying, as you're disciplining, I'm doing this because I love you. And I know we laugh at that, but we really mean it, right? We're doing it because we love them, and we know that temporary pain will produce everlasting discipline, right? And so we're doing that because we're trying to teach them something. And then I look back on the times that have not been very fun. And I mean, even in my health journey, and even the fact that, all the stress of the past couple years that has caused my health issues. That has not been fun. It has not been fun to get to the bottom of myself and the end of myself. But in him allowing that, that has been a discipline, because it has brought up all the nasty junk from my life, and being able to skim that away. And in that, because he was with me, I got to see new parts of him. I got to see him, you know, be faithful. I've been able to see him as a healer. I've been able to see him as somebody who comforts. Like, I got to see parts of God that I would never have seen before, because I went through something hard. And that is God's kindness too. It's God's kindness when we begin to, when he reveals himself to us. And sometimes he has to reveal himself to us through something hard. And so God's kindness is not always easy or fun. But it is still God's kindness, and he is treating us as his children, which we are his children. And so what I wanted to walk away today to say is that God is kind, but recognize him in both the good and the hard. And so if you happen to be walking through something difficult right now and it does not feel very kind, just be encouraged that God is saying, I'm doing this because I love you. I'm doing it because I love you. It doesn't feel like it, but he is being kind. And if you would just keep looking to him, and through the whole thing, you will see it as a kindness when you're on the other side. Now, I mean, people can absolutely take a difficult situation and not grow closer to God. It can make them more bitter. It can make them more mad. It can withdraw them. It can, I'm aware somebody can go through something difficult and it will literally make them crazy. Like, it will not be a good thing. But when we go through that, leaning on our Savior, it is a kindness, because it will reveal himself and reveal stuff about us that needs to go away. So it is God's kindness. Okay. I hope that encourages you today if you are going through something difficult. Oh my goodness, guys, I feel like I need to I need another day off. Because yesterday I was just trying, like, we did church and I was trying to take a nap, and we went over to family, and like, I have not even unpacked my suitcase yet, which is not normal for me. I normally do that as soon as I get home, and I need to do laundry, and they didn't go grocery shopping while I was gone, so I got to go do that. And then we're going out of town again on Wednesday. So this is like kind of a crazy week. Oh, I should tell you, we bought a car for Emma over the weekend. We think we bought a car for Emma over the weekend. Scott found a Honda Accord, and we're getting it checked out with a mechanic this time before we for sure purchase it. They're looking at it today, and then if it looks okay, I think we're gonna keep it. So anyway, that's exciting news too. Okay guys, I am going to go. I hope you have a wonderful start to your week, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.